Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the You Know podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and here you'll find the latest sports news and game analysis from a fan's perspective. Today, we're going to touch on the NBA playoffs, potential first round matchups, the play in tournament, NBA awards, and my top 10 NFL free agent signings this offseason. So, the NBA this year has been a great year. Obviously, depending on who your team is, but from a sports fan perspective, it's been great. The top three spots in the East have been battling it out all year with some promise from the Knicks and the Cavs, but ultimately, in my opinion, the East runs through the Celtics or the Bucks. Out West, it's been kind of similar to the East, but after the top three spots, it's almost a crapshoot to see who's going to end up where. I really feel like a couple teams can shift. You could really see some big shifts, but you could also see teams just stay where they're at. The 10th seed Thunder are 3.5 games behind the Suns, who are the 4th seed. That's just wild to me. But anyway, so it's really weird because the West is usually set that way, like in the way that the East is this year. So it's just kind of flipped. But that's just how it goes sometimes. And I think the Bucks will finish at first. I think the Celtics will be second. The Sixers will finish at 3. Cavs will be 4. The Knicks will be 5, and I think the Heat will finish at 6. And then for the play-in, you'll have the Nets, Hawks, Raptors, and Bulls. Out of the play-in, Nets. I think the Nets are beating the Hawks, right? So then the Hawks would go on to play the winner of the Raptors or the Bulls. I think if the Raptors win that, I think they could beat the Hawks. Now, if it's the Bulls, I think the Hawks beat the Bulls, as odd as that sounds. I just feel like the Raptors match up with them a little bit better, and the Hawks just, yeah. But you never know. So I have the Bucks playing the Raptors in the first round, which I feel like whoever the Bucks play in the first round, they're giving them a clean sweep. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but the Bucks are probably going to do a clean sweep on the first round. The Celtics will be playing the Nets. Same thing last year, less talent. I think the Celtics are going to come out and just punch them right in the mouth. 4-0 sweep and get that series done with. Sixers, Miami, that one, I could see that going to 7 games, but I could also see Joel just dominating and winning it in like 5 or 6. So I think the Sixers come out of that. And then Cavs and Knicks. I don't know. Both these teams are streaky in my opinion. Cavs I feel like are a little bit more consistent. So I would go with the Cavs on that. I think Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs is a problem. So out west we have the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Suns, Clippers, Timberwolves. That's the 1 through 6. And then the play-in, you got the Warriors, Pelicans, Lakers, and the Mavs. So I really, the Mavs could slip out and not even make the playoffs. I mean, they're not in right now, but I think they could squeeze in. I think Kyrie and Luka definitely they're gonna try to go their hardest, in my opinion, to try to make the playoffs. But I also could see Kyrie just being like, "Yep, end of the season, I'm good. I'm leaving anyway." So, but for my matchups, I got the Nuggets and the Lakers, which I don't know. Like I want to say the Nuggets, but I could see the Lakers surprising. I mean, it's LeBron James. Like we all know what LeBron James can do. So I think the Lakers could surprise some people there, and that'd be really cool to see. I don't think I've ever seen a 1 seed get upset like that in the playoffs. I'd have to honestly look it up. I've never seen that. Grizzlies and the Warriors, which could also, I feel like the West has some really good matchups, better matchups than the East. But the West, Grizzlies and the Warriors, that could be a really good matchup, especially if Andrew Wiggins comes back. If Andrew Wiggins comes back, I could see the Warriors winning that. That'll really, like, now I feel like the NBA really wants that too, because like that just with all the drama and stuff this offseason, or not this during the season. Yeah. Grizzlies, Warriors. I think the Warriors could win that. It all depends if Andrew Wiggins comes back. They're expecting him to come back, so we'll see. So that one's kind of a toss-up, but the next one, Kings and the Timberwolves. I think the Kings are going to come out and actually, I could see them just freaking sweeping the Timberwolves. Like, I don't know. I have no faith in the Timberwolves at all. So I'm going Kings 4-0. Suns, Clippers. I'm gonna say 6 or 7 game series. That's gonna be a good series. I like to see Kawhi in the playoffs. It's been a while, so I'm excited for that. All right, and now for my conference final predictions. Out west, I'm going Nuggets, Grizzlies. I could see the Kings potentially, but I don't think they have enough experience. I think the Nuggets and Grizzlies. You could see the Warriors make it in there. I don't want to see the Warriors. As a Celtics fan, I do not want to see the Warriors win in any type of way. I don't even want to see them win one game in the playoffs. I despise the Warriors. So I hope the Grizzlies sweep them first round. I would love that. So Nuggets, Grizzlies, and then out east, Bucks, Celtics. I mean, it's another great matchup. I would love to see the Celtics and the Sixers, but I don't see that happening, especially with the 2 and the 3. So Bucks, Celtics win, Celtics, Nuggets, finals prediction, Celtics in 6. If they play the Nuggets, if they play the Grizzlies, Celtics in 5. I think they win in Memphis. So that's my playoff predictions. So that's where we're going to wrap that up. I think we can transition into awards now. Awards are a little bit trickier, especially with certain ones. I feel like it could go either way, and you think you know, or you think you watch somebody. I don't watch enough of all the teams to get in like a sample size of everybody, but I watch enough of the good teams and enough of each team. I feel like if you watch one certain team, you at least see another team a couple times throughout the year, or at least once. So it's tough to gauge, but for MVP, you gotta go Jokic. I would love to put Joel up there, but his availability has not been 14 games. I'm just saying that's a good chunk of games to miss to be MVP. And his team's third in the East. So Jokic, the best player on the best team. Now, you could also argue Giannis, but Giannis isn't putting up triple doubles. If Giannis was putting up triple doubles, easy MVP. So I think Jokic wins it again 3 times in a row. No, Larry Bird did it. I think Wilt Chamberlain also did it. So that's pretty good company to be up there with. And then you got Defensive Player of the Year. I would love to put like Bam. I want to give Bam that, but because he was so close last year. But Jaren Jackson has been having a great year. I feel more consistently. Bam can take nights off. Jaren Jackson has been really good. I feel like he's been playing tough defense, and he's been guarding a lot of the team's best shooter or best player. So I think I give it to Jaren Jackson. Rookie of the Year, that's easy. P5. He's been. I don't. There's no other rookie that looks even close to him. He's ready. He's ready. That was a good pickup. I think he's ready for the league. He's going to be. I give him a couple years. I feel like he's going to develop kind of like Jason Tatum. Give him some time. He's going to be a great scorer, but he needs to develop the other assets to be an NBA player. So, 6 man, gotta give it to Money Mal, Malcolm Brogdon. You could argue a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people talking about Bobby Portis. I really have been, and I think Malcolm Brogdon has had a more consistent year for any 6 man. So you could say Emmanuel Quickly, but I don't think that he's had a great month, but not a great year. if compared to Malcolm Brogdon. So, comeback player of the year, Lauri Markkanen, no doubt. He's had a great year. I feel like Utah fans love him. Um, yeah, great player, great comeback year. So I think he definitely takes that. I don't really see any competition in that. I mean, there's a couple guys that are kind of close, but he's just been way above them, maybe 2 steps above them. Coach of the year, Mike Brown. They got to go to the Mike Brown Kings. They've had a great year. First time they made it in 18 years, I think. I seen a stat that said like the Apple didn't even release an iPhone the last time the Kings made the playoffs. So that's saying something. So I think Mike Brown wins Coach of the Year. And that'll wrap up the awards, which will take us to the NFL segment of this podcast. All right, for free agency, the signings, and by signings I mean the guys that got signed, and then I think who should be signed. So number one has to be Lamar Jackson. It has to be. What the Ravens are doing to Lamar right now, I feel like is insane. If you have a guy like Lamar, granted he gets injured and he's not what most people want as a traditional quarterback, but he's good. He'll win you ball games. And if you take care of him, so like I feel like if you had a team with a good offensive line, don't get me wrong, the Ravens offensive line is okay, but they haven't really gave Lamar a lot of things to work with. If you insert him into a team like the Jets right now, if you, instead of them paying all this money to a guy that's going to retire in 2 years, 3 years, he might not even come to the Jets. Instead of the Jets giving him all that money, I feel like they would have a much better chance of getting Lamar, bringing him in, and having Lamar play with all the weapons that they just acquired. It would make so much more sense. Your investment would last longer. He's only 26. Compared to the Aaron Rodgers age, like it just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't understand why teams are passing on Lamar like they are. Now, do I think it's collusion? Possibly, because Deshaun Watson messed everything up. Not Deshaun Watson, actually, the Browns. I would have said yes to that contract too. The Browns are insane for giving him that contract, especially for a guy that hasn't played in 2 years. That'd be like the 49ers giving Trey Lance a contract who hasn't played in 2 years. Gave him a guaranteed contract. That's insane. And then now it's messing up the rest of everything else. Do I think players should have guaranteed money? Heck yeah. But not your whole contract. That's insane to me, especially if you are a liability in previous years or off the field as well. So Lamar is number one with everything that's going on. I could see him moving. I don't know if I was Lamar and they franchise tagged me, maybe I sit and just say screw it, and maybe I don't take my money this year. I don't know. I honestly, he's in a really crappy situation right now, I feel. So hopefully they figure things out. Hopefully he gets paid. Hopefully maybe he'll go to a team where they actually want to take care of him. So number two, Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, again, you might hear a little bit of bias here. I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan. But their defensive line just went from the best defensive line to the best defensive line. How do you get better? That's insane to me. So now their defense as a whole is almost complete. If they get another edge guy like Nick Bosa, it's over. The league is on notice. So I'm excited for this season, especially after that pickup. We'll see how it goes. We lost a couple of key role players, I would say, but most of the time you fill those in through the draft, and we also signed a lot of free agents, so I think we're set. Now, number three, Josh Jacobs. He's a great player. Now, that's another player that I feel like is him and Tony Pollard both. I love them both, how they play. They're both like, I hate the franchise tag. If you've been franchise tagged once, I don't think you should be able to get franchise tagged again ever in your career unless you go to another team. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think the franchise tag is useful, but to use it on a player that multiple times, I just think that's wrong. Especially for if you're preaching player safety, no. So that's my number 3. Number 4, this one's tough because I could go. I like Jason Kelce. I could put him here, but I'm gonna. I feel like a center for the Eagles, having him back for 1 year is great. It's going to be a good thing for them, but this isn't like a. It's not like a huge shifting thing where I'm like, oh my God, the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl again now. No, they lost a lot of key pieces on defense. Granted, they picked some up through the draft last year to refill those spots, but they don't have that experience now. They did re-sign some guys, so we'll see. I think they'll still be a good team. I don't think they'll fall off like a lot of people are expecting. But number 4 is Dalvin Tomlinson, defensive tackle for the Browns. He got paid a pretty good penny. He's been pretty disruptive as well. I think this is a good pickup for the Browns. Their defensive line is already pretty good. I mean, I think they'll lose Jadeveon Clowney, but picking him up is good. They haven't had a real big interior threat. Picking him up is going to help a lot with Myles Garrett on the edge. So I like that pickup. Number 5, it's not like a crazy, but I like it. This is just for me. We'll go Jason Kelce at 5. We'll do Jason Kelce at 5, as I explained. At 6, I'm going to go Tremaine Edmonds. I like that the Bills picked him up, although if they would have never gotten rid of Khalil Mack, they wouldn't have to do this now. But, I mean, I get it. Tremaine Edmonds is, 24. He's young. He's been in the league for 4 years now, right? I think. 4 years. So, I mean, he's been playing pretty good ball. His best year, tackle stat-wise, was his first year. But I feel like he's a consistent player. He plays really well. This is a good pickup by the Bears. I think they're trying to get better all around. They're going to probably pick up some more pieces in the draft. They might not be great next year or the following year, but give them some time. They're building some pieces over there. And then after that, 7, Tony Pollard. This is a steal. Getting him as a franchise tag is insane, especially after they cut Dak. I feel like this man deserves to get re-signed. They probably put the tag on him due to health, but I think he'll have a great year, and hopefully he stays healthy, and then that means he can get a great contract next year because the man is young. He's 26. He deserves to get a contract, especially playing all them years behind Zeke. Yeah, it's time. After that, we got 8. We got Orlando Brown. Now, he's been up and down for sure, but the Bengals have not had an offensive line. I feel like that's been great, or even good, honestly. So to have him now, at least you'll get some good games out of him. I feel like he's a lot more consistent than the average left tackle. He's definitely worth the money that they paid for him. So he's young too, so he has a lot of time to develop as well. So that was a great pickup by the Bengals. They finally have invested in some line, which they've been needing to do. Next is another offensive tackle, and that is Caleb McGarry for the Falcons. He has been a run-blocking monster. He is a beast. So, again, I like this pickup. He re-signed. This is good for them. I think the Falcons need to find their franchise quarterback. I don't know if Ritter's going to get the job done. I liked how he played at Cincinnati, but I don't know if he's an NFL quarterback. They did pick up Heineke, which is a good pickup for good QB competition. I could honestly see Heineke coming out and winning that QB competition. I wasn't impressed by Ritter at all last year. So we'll see. And then last, Geno Smith. As much as I hate to say that the Seahawks made a good move and re-signing Geno Smith, he is old. But he hasn't been playing like that. I feel like he has a little bit left in the tank. So for 3 years at 105 mil, by then they can draft. I feel they're going to have some down years. They know it. You're not paying for a crazy quarterback. You're not paying for like a Patrick Mahomes or anything, so you don't feel like you have to win now. You kind of fell into this older quarterback that you're not set with for 10 years because he's 26. or you feel like you have to stick with him because you drafted him, 3 years, $105 million. In 3 years' time, they'll probably be drafting another quarterback or make a move for another younger quarterback to fill in behind him. So I like this pickup a lot. Now, there's some guys that are unsigned that I think are better than some of these guys, but being unsigned and not really hearing any noise about them, I don't feel like we should talk about them. So those are my top 10 NFL signings or not signees of this offseason. On the day of recording this, it is opening day for baseball, which in recent years I've really come to enjoy watching baseball, especially in October. If you don't watch baseball during the regular season, completely understand, but if you don't watch it at all, try watching some baseball in October. I guarantee you will enjoy at least some of the game. There might not be all of it, but if it's your team, you might enjoy all of it. But if you're just watching to see if you will enjoy baseball, you'll enjoy at least some of the game. The atmosphere is different. It's just a lot different. Playoff baseball is big. But this year they made some rule changes, which I'm excited for, and I'm want to see how it'll affect the game. It didn't really seem to affect it too much in the spring training games. Early on, it seemed like some players and were kind of still getting used to it, but it wasn't like a huge adjustment or anything too crazy. I do like the pitch timer, but I don't. I can see how as a batter, I like it. Like when my team's batting, I really enjoy it because it's like, okay, you kind of know what's coming. You can see the pace a little bit. But as a pitcher, it's like, dang, as soon as he gets on the mound, it's almost like it's already 15 seconds. And that sounds like a lot of a time, but if you like sit there and really count it down, you're like, with everything that's going on, especially if someone's on base, I feel like that's a lot. So they might expand the time. Even adding 5 more seconds would make it a little bit more feasible. I think it'll be good for the game. We'll hope. I do see a lot of the older generation not enjoying this change. Baseball is supposed to be the same and all this and that. We'll see. With the way the attention span of people is going, this is probably good for the game. So we shall see.
We'll be back next Friday with more on the NBA playoffs, the NFL, and the start of the MLB. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen, and I hope you have a great week. You guys can follow me on Facebook at the You Know Podcast. I'm going to get other social medias going, but for now I just got Facebook, and this is going to be on Spotify. I'll share the link on Facebook. With that being said, if you didn't know, now you know.